In Chapter 12, we discuss life at home, families, and relationships. We begin with a question. Is it children, men, women, or grandparents that are most likely to do the second shift work in the family? And the answer is C, women. Second shift refers to the unpaid labor inside the home that is often expected of women after they get home from working at paid labor outside of the home. In 1989, Arlie Hochschild's study of working couples and parents found that women were indeed working two jobs, paid labor and then the second shift. What is the family? The U.S. Census Bureau defines family as two or more individuals related by blood, marriage, or adoption living in the same household. But according to sociologists, a family is defined as a social group whose members are bound by legal, biological, or emotional ties, or a combination of all three. People in what sociologists define as a family may or may not share a household, but are always interdependent and have a sense of mutual responsibility for another's care. This more open-ended definition takes into account the diversity among today's families. We'll look at some trends in American families. Now, there are many people who continue to be single for much of, if not all of their lives, choosing not to marry. Cohabitation with some couples that choose to live together without marrying. Single parenting. Some become single parents after a divorce, the other parent's death, or others who choose to raise children on their own. And then there are also intentional communities where people have set up communal living arrangements. Intentional communities include eco-villages, communes, co-ops, and monasteries. Mate selection. How did or how do you choose a mate? Homogamy means like marries like. That refers to the fact that we tend to choose mates similar to us in class, race, ethnicity, age, religion, education, and even levels of attractiveness. Propinquity is when we marry or have relationships with people in close geographical proximity. When we look at these two concepts, it tells us how mate selection works, and it's largely determined by society. Propinquity is logical. We're likely to find possible mates among the people in our neighborhood, at work, or at school. The internet makes courtship and romance possible across much greater geographical areas, as we can now meet and converse with people in all parts of the world, so our pool of potential mates moves beyond local boundaries. But even this technology may intensify homogamy by bringing together people with very specific interests and identities. Endogamy refers to marriage to someone within one's social group, such as race, ethnicity, class, education, religion, region, or nationality. And exogamy refers to marriage to someone from a different social group. Monogamy, the practice of marrying or being in a relationship with one person at a time, is still considered the only legal form of marriage in modern Western culture. Polygamy is a system of marriage that allows people to have more than one spouse at a time. Polyamory is a system of multiple person partnership. Monogamy is the most common form of romantic relationship in the United States, and as we also stated, the only legal form. Polygamy is practiced among some cultures around the world, but is not widely acknowledged as a legitimate form of marriage. You may hear of polygamous relationships even in the United States. Individuals may claim to be married to multiple people, but those ties have no legal meaning and would not hold up in a court. There are two types of polygamy. The more common form of polygamy is polygyny, which is a system of marriage that allows men to have multiple wives. Polyandry, a system of marriage that allows women to have multiple husbands, is a more rare form of polygamy. Polyamory is a type of multiple person partnership where each person is in a relationship with each of other individuals belonging to the group. We look at the work of family. There are many types of paid and unpaid work that are necessary to keep a family operating. We talk about instrumental tasks that include the practical physical tasks necessary to maintain family life. Think about washing dishes, cutting grass. And then the expressive tasks that refer to the emotional work necessary to support family members, such as remembering a relative's birthday or playing with the children. These tasks in the household and the work of family can be instrumental or expressive. Ideally, men or women could perform either or both types of work as they see fit and feel comfortable. But we tend to see gender roles and expectations placing men into one category and women into another. Men and women have always performed different roles to ensure the survival of their families, but these roles were not considered unequal until after the Industrial Revolution. Women nowadays have two jobs, the paid labor outside the home and the unpaid labor inside the home. We talked about earlier the second shift. With the Industrial Revolution, work started taking place outside the home for a paid wage. As a result, the kind of work that became valuable was the kind that happened outside of the home. This is when housework became unvalued because it was not associated with a wage. We now look at the postmodern family or the new normal. Families adapting to the challenges of a postmodern society may create structures that look very different from the traditional family and can include ex-spouses, new partners and children, other kin, and even non-kin, such as friends and co-workers. How do contemporary sociologists define family? Is it A, relatives or relations, usually those related by common descent? B, a social group whose members are bound by legal, biological, or emotional ties, or a combination of all three? C, two or more individuals related by blood, marriage, or adoption living in the same household? Or D, a two-parent household with children? And the answer is B, a social group whose members are bound by legal, biological, or emotional ties, or a combination of all three.